Dr. Terry Dubrow talks Brandi Glanville's horrific face parasite claims. Brandi Glanville recently opened up about a change in her appearance. At the time, she shared her belief that she had been infected with a Moroccan parasite. Since the story came out, Dr. Terry Dubrow has also weighed in on the situation. Dr. Terry Dubrow has offered his surgical talents to a variety of reality shows. Dubrow is a plastic surgeon and a television personality. He appeared on The Swan and served as a co-host for shows like Botched, Botched by Nature, and Good Work. Dubrow also has some history with the Real Housewives franchise. He and his wife Heather have appeared on the Real Housewives of Orange County. Fellow Real Housewives alum, Brandi Glanville, recently shared what she believes recently caused her face to change. According to the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills star, she suspects she might have been infected by a parasite after a trip to Morocco. Dubrow recently talked with TMZ over the story. As he shared, "I saw one of her interviews and I've seen the picture of her, the one where she is swollen, the one where she is really deflated with the irregular skin." He continued, "Here's the thing, here's what Brandi really needs to focus on. And it's not her fault, it's her doctor's fault. Brandi needs a diagnosis." For his part, Dubrow doesn't believe parasites are to blame for Glanville's condition. As he noted, she has to figure out if there's a microorganism in there. He continued, "It's not going to be a parasite, it's not going to be something she ate. It's going to be from something that got into her bloodstream." The Botch star also offered his services if need be. Dubrow also emphasized the importance of getting help as soon as possible. As he put it, she's like a ticking time bomb. Every minute that microorganism is allowed to stay in her skin and do potential damage, she could suffer worse for it. It could be more difficult to treat, and she could form more scars and more nodules. So Brandi needs a diagnosis. She probably needs a surgical intervention to get a piece of tissue and figure out what's going on. However, should Glanville be unable to get the help she needs, Dubrow also offered his services. As he noted, "Brandi, if you can't get a diagnosis, okay, and you need help, the Botch doctors are here for you." Dr. Terry Dubrow's reputation as one of the most respected plastic surgeons in Beverly Hills was never questioned, until he found himself addressing one of the strangest claims in his career. As a co-host of Botched and a go-to expert in cosmetic surgery, he was used to shocking cases. But Brandi Glanville's recent allegations about a horrific face parasite had thrust him into an unexpected spotlight. In a cozy corner of his Newport Beach home, Terry sat down for an exclusive interview to clear the air. The polished yet homey space was adorned with family portraits, plush armchairs, and a faint aroma of espresso lingering from the kitchen. Heather Dubrow, his ever-supportive wife, occasionally flitted by with a reassuring smile as Terry launched into the wild tale. "First, let me say that Brandi's a fascinating person," Terry began, his tone diplomatic, but tinged with bemusement. "I've known her socially, and we've crossed paths through mutual friends in the Real Housewives universe. She's got a vibrant personality, always entertaining, always unpredictable." The allegations had surfaced on a chaotic Instagram live session where Brandi, clad in oversized sunglasses and visibly distressed, detailed her supposed encounter with a horrifying parasite that had, according to her, taken up residence in her face. The video went viral within hours, prompting a mix of concern, skepticism, and endless memes. Fans and skeptics alike tagged Terry's name, urging him to weigh in. "Look, parasitic infections of the skin or face are extremely rare in the United States," he explained, leaning forward with the authoritative air of a professor. "But they're not impossible." What I found unusual was the timeline she described and the lack of any clinical documentation to support her claim. Terry's voice softened as he added, "I'm not here to discredit Brandi. If she's genuinely experiencing distress, she deserves support and medical care. That said, as a physician, I'm compelled to look at the facts." He recounted how he first heard about the allegations. Heather had shown him the Instagram video, her brows furrowed in concern. "Terry, you need to see this," she said, thrusting her phone toward him. As he watched, Terry's initial reaction was a mix of concern and incredulity. "I've seen it all," he admitted. Silicone injections gone wrong, botched fillers, even patients claiming they've been cursed by witch doctors. But parasites? He shook his head, his grin rueful. That was a first. In the days following the video, Terry's office had been inundated with inquiries from media outlets, fans, and even patients. Some asked for his professional opinion, while others, inspired by Brandi's claims, wanted consultations to address their own sudden fears of parasitic infections. One patient called in convinced that their Botox had turned into worms, Terry said, raising an eyebrow. It took a lot of reassurance and some thorough explanations of how Botox actually works to calm them down. When asked if he'd ever treated Brandi or been involved in her care, Terry was quick to clarify. "No, I've never treated Brandi. She's never been a patient of mine. If she had come to me with these concerns, I would have taken them seriously, of course. But I'd also insist on some concrete diagnostics, blood tests, biopsies, imaging, to get to the bottom of it." The speculation around Brandi's claims had also reignited conversations about the pressures of beauty and the extremes some might go to maintain their looks. Terry used the moment to reflect on the larger issue. "We live in a culture where looking good is often equated with feeling good," he said. "Social media amplifies that pressure. But when it leads to paranoia or unrealistic expectations, that's when it becomes dangerous. My job as a doctor is to guide people towards safe, realistic outcomes." Heather popped her head into the room, holding a steaming cup of tea. "Terry always says, we're in the business of fixing things, not creating problems," she quipped, earning a laugh from her husband. Despite the levity, there was a serious undercurrent to Terry's message. He explained that parasitic infections, while rare, are typically associated with travel to regions where such conditions are more common or with exposure to contaminated water or food. If someone truly believes they have a parasite, they should see an infectious disease specialist. Dermatologists and plastic surgeons aren't the right first stop for that kind of issue, he said, his tone firm. The conversation shifted to the social media frenzy that Brandi's claims had sparked. Terry chuckled at some of the memes, but admitted that the online reaction highlighted a troubling trend. People are quick to sensationalize, especially when it comes to appearances. Brandi's story became entertainment for a lot of folks, but if she's genuinely struggling, that's not fair to her. It's a reminder of how we need to balance skepticism with empathy. When asked if he'd be open to examining Brandi's case, Terry didn't hesitate. "Absolutely. If she wants my opinion, I'm here. But it'd be a collaborative effort. I bring in infectious disease experts, dermatologists, maybe even psychologists, because issues like this often have multiple layers." He paused, choosing his words carefully. There's also the possibility that this isn't a medical issue at all. Sometimes perceived physical problems can stem from emotional or psychological struggles. And that's okay. It's just as valid to seek help for those issues. As the interview wound down, Terry reflected on the lessons he'd taken from the incident. Brandi's story is a reminder that we're all human. Whether you're a surgeon, a reality TV star, or just someone trying to navigate life, we all have insecurities and challenges. The key is addressing them with compassion and science, not fear or sensationalism. Heather, now seated beside him, added with a smile, "And maybe staying off Instagram Live when you're upset." The two shared a laugh, the kind that only comes from years of partnership and shared adventures in the often absurd world of reality television and celebrity culture. In the end, Dr. Terry Dubrow's take on Brandi Glanville's face parasite saga was equal parts skepticism, professionalism, and humanity. And as the world continued to buzz with speculation, he remained grounded in his mission, helping people feel and look their best, parasites or not.